get your ass up from underneath the table and let's just talk. I'm not mad, I promise. I promise I won't slap the hell out of you for talking noise.
What it do, peeps? It's the Beat Chef with Watch the Damn Tape. Hit that like, that share, that subscribe button. Hit that bell to get notified when I drop my next video. To my new subscribers, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoy the show and I hope you get something from the content. To my day ones, thank you for helping me build this platform and keep this conversation pushing. Napheesa Collier says she ain't going to meet with Cathy Englebert. You wonder why? It's simple. It's a couple things. I'm not surprised. First, let's get the elephant out the room. I don't trust neither one of these ladies, Napheesa or Cathy. Shout out to VVS Golden. They both liars. Both of them liars. The reason why Napheesa didn't go to this meeting is very, very simple. She has created a group within her own Players Association and has staged them and hid them in Unrivaled. See, each team has a player rep. Most teams have two. You have a primary and an alternate. Around 19 of them, the players that have been player reps, have either played or are going to play in Unrivaled. Unrivaled right now only has 48 spots. A couple of them haven't declared or been offered a job in Unrivaled this year that were originals. Tiffany Hayes, Stephanie Dolson, Vandersloot. Vandersloot's out with a blown knee. Tiffany Hayes is out with injuries. Stephanie Dolson probably could just use a little rest. She's an older player. And she lumbers when she goes down the court. But the rest of the players, if I go through the list of union reps, let's just start with the executives. Kelsey Plum was in Unrivaled originally, and then she backed out. She's in for season 2. Of course, we know Shuck and Jive, Napheesa Collier and Breonna Stewart, both the vice presidents in Unrivaled and vice presidents in their Players Association. But on the teams, this is what Napheesa did. Napheesa, before she became president, was also a player rep. So she has a relationship. She builds relationships. She's been in the league for several years. She's built some relationships with a lot of these players. So she convinces them, hey, we got this new thing coming. We got some investors. You need to jump on board. The ones she didn't get initially, she got them as relief players. Those would be somebody like, say, like a Naz Hillman. Naz Hillman is a player rep for the Atlanta Dream. Ariel Atkins is an alternate player rep for the Chicago Sky. She was a relief player that got called up in Unrivaled. But the other player rep, the primary player rep for the Chicago Sky, is Rachel Bannum. Rachel Bannum will be in her first year in Unrivaled. It was announced a couple days ago. If we go to the Connecticut Sun, they have one rep on their team. That is Marina Mabry. She's in her second year being in Unrivaled. If we go to the Dallas Wings have Arike Ugunwale and Maddie Segrist. Arike will be in year 2. This is Maddie Segrist's first year in Unrivaled. The Golden State Warriors don't have anybody that is a player rep that's playing in Unrivaled, but they do have Tiffany Hayes on the team, and she was a player rep for the Aces last year. She's hurt right now, but she's not going to play in Unrivaled. Aaliyah Boston and Lexi Hull are going to be in season 2. They were both in season 1, and they're both player reps. Chelsea Gray and Asia Wilson are player reps for the Aces. Chelsea played in Unrivaled in season 1, and she will be in season 2. Sanaya Fagan's a rookie, which is very interesting that they got Sanaya Fagan on there as a player rep being that young. But last year, the player rep for them was Cameron Brink, and she's in year 1 and year 2 of Unrivaled. Diamond Miller and Bridget Carlton are the player reps for the Minnesota Lynx. Neither one of them is an unrivaled. Sabrina Ionescu and Isabel Harrison are the player reps for the New York Liberty. Sabrina was an unrivaled last year, and also Courtney Vandersloot was a player rep for the New York Liberty last year. She's out with the ACL, so she won't be back. Kalia Copper and Kalani Brown are the player reps for the Mercury. Kalia Copper is an unrivaled player in season 1 and 2. And Lexi Brown and Ezzie Magbagor are the player reps for the Seattle Storm. Ezzie will be in her first year unrivaled. She wasn't in there last year, but she's the alternate player rep for the Seattle Storm. Stephanie Dolson, Big Mama Dolson, and Aaliyah Edwards are the player reps for the Washington Mystics. Of course, we know Aaliyah Edwards got traded this year. Stephanie Dolson has not been announced as a player in Unrivaled just yet, but Aaliyah Edwards is in season 2. She was also in season 1. So if you just go and look, and I'll leave links to the Players Association player reps and a link to the Unrivaled rosters. All the ladies I named that I said were in Unrivaled are on the roster for Unrivaled. It's over a dozen women out of 48. This is the reason why Napheesa doesn't want to face the music. She's under immense pressure. She has co-opted her union for her business. These players have gotten promised big salaries and a lot of perks. So, she has to stand on that with them. She also has investors. She has investors that want Caitlin Clark. They want Asia Wilson. They want somebody marketable. And they damn sure want Caitlin Clark. That was probably a huge bargaining chip that they get Caitlin Clark in year 2. That's why she's been real nice and real complimentary of Caitlin Clark all season. The only thing about it is Napheesa doesn't understand that Caitlin Clark is highly intelligent. Smells the BS all the way from Shuck. Understands that Cathy Englebert is also a snake and a liar. But Napheesa ain't too far from it. Folks, what happened at Unrivaled, and that was the key part that you had to hear, it wasn't that she said anything about Caitlin Clark. You got to understand, Napheesa, up against a deadline, has this information that she has in her back pocket about a conversation she had with Cathy Englebert at a rival company event, which is funny as hell anyway. They have a conversation. It doesn't go the way Napheesa likes, but she hears tidbits that she can use for later. Remember, she's just now becoming a businesswoman. So, she's going to wait till after the season, after she wins MVP, after she gets a title, all this and that, and she going to drop this bomb on Cathy. Because they don't like Cathy anyway. But Alyssa Thomas taps her leg and kills her season. Now she can't go at Alyssa Thomas because Alyssa Thomas is unrivaled. But she can go at Cathy. Now's the time to streak to pop this little pertinent piece of information that she dissed Caitlin Clark. Cathy's hurt. Cathy's offended. Damn, we were just bullshitting about our leagues. You got to understand, folks. There's a business entity called Athletes Unlimited. If you open up the WNBA app, the WNBA app is powered by Deloitte. Cathy Englebert was the CEO of Deloitte. Yep, let me see. Let me open the screen for you so you can see what I'm talking about. Powered by Deloitte at the bottom of the screen. You can watch all the Athletes Unlimited basketball. That's the key thing with Athletes Unlimited. Athletes Unlimited is a platform that supports women's sports in general. So they do soccer, they do softball, they do basketball. But the WNBA has like a pseudo relationship with them because it promotes their players and it keeps their players from going abroad and playing. So if there's already an entity that's already doing this, you don't really need Unrivaled. You don't need 3-on-3 when you got Athletes Unlimited doing this same exact thing right around the same time. And it's almost perfect. Athletes Unlimited is closer to training camp than Unrivaled. So when Athletes Unlimited ends, you can go right from Athletes Unlimited and go right into training camp and then go right into the season. And it's 5-on-5. So why not make the investment in that if you're a female? And Athletes Unlimited's mission statement is basically the same as Unrivaled. Now, very interesting, on Athletes Unlimited, started in 2022. I'm going to go through some of the names of the executive board, just like the WNBA. The executive board of the Players Association in the WNBA, Sydney Colson and Natasha Cloud are two that you would know. That was from 2022. Lexi Brown, Natasha Cloud, and Sydney Colson in 2023. Lexi Brown, Sydney Colson, and Lexi Brown, Sydney Colson, and Lexi Hull, 2024. Isabel Harrison, Sydney Colson, Lexi Brown, in 2025 currently. Those are the basketball player executive committee members. They go over all the aspects of the game, the rosters, establishing the rules and the scoring, all that stuff. That's what they do. That's what they do. But one thing about Athletes Unlimited that that the Unrivaled doesn't do, they don't try to compete. Everything that Athletes Unlimited does always references the WNBA. For instance, on their page it says, the league features 40 of the best women's professional basketball players in the world. AU is providing more opportunities for women to play professionally in the U.S. and also giving WNBA players the option to remain in the U.S. year-round. There's already a platform. But when you're greedy and selfish, you come up with a 3-on-3 league. And that's because the Unrivaled League is basically a tadpole. They wanted to turn into a damn frog. And when it turned into a frog, it'll be 5-on-5. And the goal is to take over the WNBA. Because keep in mind, Natasha Cloud said this on X this weekend. Take a look. Now, Natasha said that. And I said, you know what? That's the second time I've heard that in the last 2 months. Earlier last month, or back actually 2 months ago. It was it was August, late August, I believe. I did a video where Alex Bazell was talking about how he had went to the WNBA to get an equity stake, and the W didn't bite because they wanted the equity stake with no control, no say. Just give the money over. Just give us the money. You get some equity, and we'll run the show. And the WNBA passed. Natasha Cloud just validated that. We tried to give them some equity, and Cathy turned us down. So, imagine when Cathy was at Unrivaled, imagine what the conversation was between her and Napheesa Collier, and it didn't go so well when Cathy told her, baby, what about Caitlyn? What about her? She made her money with us. She made her money after she signed with us. We're the biggest entity. See, Cathy can talk that talk because Cathy got NBA money behind her. Napheesa can't get Caitlin Clark in season 1. Couldn't get her in season 2, but she goes scorched earth with the conversation bomb, and she throws it out there, and everybody gets pissed because it involves Caitlin Clark. But it was never really about Caitlin Clark. It was about not getting access to the funds that the WNBA has through the NBA. And Cathy passed on it. We already have Athletes Unlimited, but we can control them. You don't want us to control you. That's what Fee's problem is. You got to understand also, folks, Fee's got 3 things going for her. She's got investors on her neck, her husband's neck, because they need to get Caitlin Clark. She's got her own faction of players that are in Unrivaled and not in Unrivaled that are breathing on her neck. And she's got the players on the outside looking in who honestly want to survive, want to check, want players that aren't in the league that would love to get back in the league. She's got all of them at her neck. And now you got to dance with the devil at a bargaining table a week after you talked all that shit. She don't want them problems. She don't want that smoke. Because you got to face the music sometime. You're going to have to see Cathy. You either see Cathy and rep the players like you had, because if you notice who came out talking, all of them were Unrivaled players for the most part. Natasha Cloud, Lexi Hull, Tiffany Hayes, Erica Wheeler. All these players that were online talking, they're all Unrivaled players. They got a vested interest in her succeeding with the plan that she sold them on. She sold them on a plan to sell out their own bargaining unit and go with this plan, because this plan will get us paid on both sides of the house. That's why everybody's not involved. Because if they had money out the wazoo and they had control over all the players in the association, they would open up 100+ spots. Quickly change the league to 5-on-5. It doesn't start till January. If you got all this money and all this influx of cash, give everybody $200,000, because right now at the 50 it's a $10 million salary cap. Just give everybody $200,000. Go up a couple notches. Spend $25 million. Give everybody else, and give some of the star players a little more money. Just go make it an even 25, 30 million, and y'all gonna make y'all money back, right? They want the WNBA to acquire them. That's why her husband went to the WNBA first. The original people that were Unrivaled, the original players, they're the ones that got an equity share in the league. The new players aren't getting the equity share. What they're going to get their money from an equity pool. But the original players have stock in the company. So imagine if the NBA wanted to swat a fly and they say, oh, how much we pay y'all to go away? And they write that check. Napheesa's paid, the investors are paid, all the players are paid. That's what Cathy Englebert knows about Napheesa. But Cathy ain't gonna say that, because Cathy's got to juggle between the WNBA and Unrivaled. Now, if Fee's plan had have worked, it probably wouldn't have been well for the players. So they fired Cathy Englebert, which she deserved to get fired, to be honest. She's a terrible commissioner. But say they fire her, and they bring on Adam Silver, and he said, I'm going to take care of this one personally. Adam Silver ain't playing them games. Adam Silver's not going to have a private conversation with you or any of you, especially after you tip your hand. Adam Silver going to go over to the wall, turn the light switch out, and say, take all of them. We don't give a shit. We tired of paying for y'all butts. Have fun. And he'll let Unrivaled have all of them. And it'll be Unrivaled, take all or nothing. And they don't want that. They want to get bought out. So dealing with Cathy would much be more advantageous for the 156 players that need a job than dealing with Adam Silver or his deputy director, who will be trying to make a big splash in his first job running the league as the guy, and Adam give him the green light to shut that bad boy down. He just shut it down and keep on moving. So Napheesa is dodging that deadline coming so fast because she had it planned out. Oh, I keep this in my back pocket. I win a title. I win MVP. I spring it on the world. Caitlyn gets mad. Caitlyn joins Unrivaled. Now we got the biggest star in the game on our roster. The advertising dollars flow in. We're making money. And one Alyssa Thomas breakaway layup off of a steal changed Napheesa Collier's whole plan. And she went scorched earth and made the biggest mistake ever. If she wanted to go scorched earth, she should have did it on a phone call with Cathy Englebert. But she did it publicly. And Cathy just sidestepped it and kept it about the players. And that's what Napheesa's worried about. Go back and listen to Cathy Englebert's press conference and listen when she said the numerous amount of proposals that have revenue share, increased salaries, and benefits. And she said, I encourage all the players to look and watch the proposals that we have been giving you. At that moment, it wasn't about Caitlin Clark no more. It was about Fee and her band of players who have been suppressing information from getting down to the lower players. Because there's so many factions. And Cathy was basically telling those players, look, y'all are not hearing what y'all haven't got a chance to vote on. But if they give you the information, or you come get the information and stop relying on your union reps to sit on these calls and give you the information, come look for yourself and see what's going on at your job, at your workplace. Fee can't deliver anymore. Because even though you're a vice president, you should still be obligated. You're an executive board member. You should be at all the meetings. You should be sitting at the table across from Cathy anyway. So you should see Cathy whether you don't want to see Cathy private or not. Regardless of y'all's little issue, the phone call, the text message, all that don't matter. You're supposed to be at that bargaining table. That's number one. And if she's not at that bargaining table, that lets me know that she has co-opted her own union for her own personal gain. And they will never get a contract. Because now they're bargaining for 48 people instead of 156. Fee is scared and she don't know what the hell to do. But those are my thoughts on Fee and the reason why she is dodging that meeting with Cathy. She got a lot on her plate. And the 31st is right around the corner. But let me know what you guys think. Leave your comments below, like, share, and subscribe. Until next time, peace.